Hello, guys. My name is Nicholas Earle, and welcome back to another edition of Baseball Talk with the Earle brothers. Joined here, as always, by my brother Tim. And today, we get the first domino, Tim, that we get to talk about. And there's going to be a lot of content coming out the next week or so with the trade deadline. We're probably going to break down most trades. Like most trades are going to get their own 5 to 10 minute video. Some will be me solo, some will be both of us, things along those lines. And we have the first domino here, which I think is important, not because of just who was traded, because Josh Naylor he's a good player, but he's not like wow type of thing there. I think this is more important for what the Diamondbacks are trying to do as well, because we had a trade last night. The Arizona Diamondbacks have traded Josh Naylor to the Mariners in exchange for right-handed pitcher Ashton Izzi and left-handed pitcher Brandyn Garcia. Also was reported last night that the Diamondbacks are expected to trade 5 to 6 more players. Obviously, the big one is Julio, which I've already heard the Reds are in on, the Yankees are in on, the Mets are in on, the Astros are in on.
Mariners are still heavily involved in them too.
Yeah. So they got the big fish there. But they trade their first domino. Josh Naylor, what was your first thought seeing this trade go down? And then we can break down, and then I'll break down the prospects that came back to the Diamondbacks in this trade.
It made sense for me it made sense for both sides, in my opinion. Mariners needed a corner infielder, and that's why they're still heavily involved in Eugenio Suarez, along with some other third basemen. They were having one of the worst productions. They were like bottom 10 in the league in both first and third base production this year. So those were their obvious two holes. And what is the Mariners' strong suit? They're pitching. They don't need all that pitching. So they were able to get rid of two minor league pitchers that, the Arizona Diamondbacks desperately need pitching, and they don't need as much offense. So this trade made 100% sense. Naylor is going to be I know it's not the biggest name, but it's going to be a really good piece for this Mariners team to get their offense rolling a little bit more, which has been their big problem, especially at home. But I really like the trade for both sides.
Yeah, and when you look at the players going back in the trade, that's kind of where I was looking more is what are the Diamondbacks going to get in exchange? Because the Diamondbacks, I think at the end of this deadline, their farm system is going to be loaded, because I think they can get, with some of the players they have out there, 3 to 4 top 100 prospects potentially in some of these trades. Because I know for a fact, when Suarez, that trade comes out, there's going to be a top 100 prospect in there. Like I was mentioning, if it is the Seattle Mariners, I think that package starts with Harry Ford, who is, I think, the 62nd overall prospect. So I do think that we see the Diamondbacks really bolster their farm system. Not huge here. They got the number 13 and number 16 prospects in the Seattle Mariners system. Ashton Izzi, the 13th ranked prospect in the Mariners system, is now the 11th in the Diamondback system. He's currently in high A right now, as he was traded. When he was traded, he was playing for the Everett Aqua Sox. This year, he has made 12 starts, 47 and 30 innings pitched, a 5.51 ERA, a 2-4 record, a 1.56 WHIP, 54 strikeouts, 21 walks. On the flip side, though, the other guy they got has actually had some major league time. Granted, 2 innings, but we've seen him pitch in Major League Baseball. He does have a 4.5 ERA in those games, but it's only 2 innings, so take that with a grain of salt. Brandyn Garcia, a left-handed pitcher, is a sinker, sweeper, slider type of guy. So far in the major leagues, he's thrown 55% sinkers, averaging around 97 miles an hour. He's thrown 24% sweepers, averaging around 85 miles an hour, and he's thrown 22% sliders, averaging around 89 miles an hour. So he could throw a little decent amount of. He's a decent amount of speed there. 97 mile an hour sinker is kind of nice. He's got a couple of nice pitches there that I think could really play pretty well in potentially the Diamondbacks bullpen at the very least. The Diamondbacks needed pitching, and that's exactly what they went out and get. Don't be surprised when more pitching prospects are acquired for some of these guys, like Julio Suarez and stuff like that, where bigger pitching prospects are acquired. But that's kind of the return there for the Diamondbacks there.
And I feel like this is also it's the first domino, and it just shows what the market's going to be, how much it's going to cost for certain players. A 13 and a 16 for Josh Naylor. That just proves how big some of the other packages are going to be for some other players of what they're going to have to give up. So that kind of just shows in the nature. It sets the market. So that's going to make it even more interesting.
Yeah, and we saw last year, especially with this expanded playoffs, creates a really good sellers market. Like you'll see, like there'll be some players out there. Like we'll do the video when Mike Soroka gets traded from the Nationals, and we're gonna be like, the Nationals got what for him? Like it's gonna be especially pitching prospects like Merrill Kelly and Zach Gallen. They got what for them type of thing. Yep. But don't be surprised when there's better prospects being traded, better prospect hauls being traded for some players, because there are not as many solidified sellers on this market, and the Diamondbacks are definitely the biggest one. And I think two teams are really going to do really well during this deadline. It's going to be the Arizona Diamondbacks, and it's going to be the Baltimore Orioles in the sellers market, because they got a lot of pieces as well, and that's something to keep an eye on. But we're kind of focusing on the Mariners and the Diamondbacks here, because I was kind of looking through real quick before we head on out here on because there was a report that the Diamondbacks are looking to trade 5 to 6 more players during the deadline. And I think obviously that starts with Suarez, then it goes to Kelly, then it goes to Gallen. And then going from there, like, could this be a Randall Grichuk, who does have a contract signed for next year, 1 year of what do you call it? Could that be a Jalen Beeks, whose contract is up at the new year? Shelby Miller, whose contract is up in the end of the year? A couple of bullpen pieces like that. Could they look to trade those guys away? Kevin Ginkel heads into arbitration next year, and so does Seth Brown, and so does AJ Puck, and so does Brian Thompson. So they definitely have some decisions to make on who else. I highly doubt they'll be able to trade him, but Jordan Montgomery is a free agent at the end of this year. No, they would have to eat a lot of money. I don't think anybody wants a Jordan Montgomery right now, but they have a lot of pieces to trade the Diamondbacks, and I do think that they're going to trade a decent amount of players, especially including a few bullpen pieces there, and it'll allow for some of their minor league guys to get up and really show them what they got. So it's going to be interesting to see what the Diamondbacks do as well as the Mariners. I do think the Mariners have a really strong farm system, and they barely tapped into it in this trade, to be completely honest. When you look at the Mariners, they still got they didn't trade any of their top 10 guys, nothing along those lines. They got a decent amount of top 100 prospects. So if the Mariners want to go out and make more trades, they absolutely can. They have one of the best farm system in baseball, and they absolutely can do that. So anything else you want to mention before we head on out for this video?
I'll quickly mention where the Mariners are sitting at the moment. They're still not out of it for the division. And with the amount of injuries that the Astros have, it's only a 5-game lead. I believe they still play each other at least 6 more times. And then they're currently in that second wild card spot. They're a game and a half behind the Yankees, and they're a half game ahead of Boston, 2 games ahead of both Tampa and Texas. So it kind of puts them – They needed to make a couple of moves in order to really stay competitive. So this is definitely a really smart move from them.
Yeah, I definitely like the addition. Obviously, I think their other first base option at the moment was Donovan Solano, so that's definitely a nice upgrade for them. Josh Naylor does give some pop to that lineup because I believe he does have double-digit home runs already this year. Obviously, we're at the All-Star break, but yeah, he can bring some power to that lineup. Defensively, he's okay, nothing special, but I definitely do think that he can bring some offense, which the Mariners desperately need. But that's gonna wrap it up for this one. Let us know down in the comment section below, what do you guys think about this trade? Who do you think won this trade? Did the Diamondbacks win this trade? Did the Mariners win this trade? Let us know down in the comment section below. But that's going to do it for this one. I want to thank you guys as always for watching. We'll catch you guys next time. Peace out.